There is something beyond your capacity. There is something unlimited. All what you seem to have is limited. We see this in many lives. In our own small way sometimes. You try hard. When everything fails, God, I don't know what to do. You should really mean it. Maybe you mean it at that moment. That means temporarily the egoistic lid slides away and you see a little something above you. And you immediately get some help, no doubt. And when that problem is solved, when that situation is relieved, then you say, I did it. I can take care of it. Ego comes again. It will tell you that is an illusion. You did it yourself. Not that somebody else helped you. You did it. Don't you know that? The ego will tell you that. It won't even allow you to recognize that higher power. First of all, we should recognize that unlimited source. Because all our capacities are limited. At least that we know. And there is a limit to that. It should be complete surrender. You can't really tap the source, the unlimited one. Even if you have a little for you. There are many examples given in story form in the Hindu mythology. Take for example, at one instance in Mahabharata, the famous ethics, the wife of the Pandava was brought into the court of the opponents, Duryodhana and his brothers, because the Pandavas lost everything in a sort of gambling. So they were more or less made into their slaves, the other party's slaves. So they wanted to really put them to shame. So they brought this girl, and one of the brother wanted to strip out. He was pulling the sari. You know the Indian women, how they wear sari. They just wear round and round, and then the one half of it comes onto the body. So a hardy man pulling the sari of a delicate woman, how can she withstand that? But still, she tried to hold it as tight as possible, and at the same time she knew that she can't hold on to the very end. Only God can help her. So she was calling the Lord's name, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. You are the only refuge to us. Save us at this critical situation. And she was yelling and shouting at Krishna, at the same time holding the sari tight. And the fellow was almost pulling. The last round was there. Then she realized, my goodness, in a few moments, he is going to take out everything. I don't know what to do. It is at that point, even without her own intellectual decision, she just raised the arms and said, Krishna, I don't know what to do. You are the only one, help me. And the moment she raised the arms up, there came yards and yards and yards of sari, and he was pulling and pulling and pulling, and from somewhere yards and yards. He couldn't strip her out. She got tired and stopped that job. It may be just a story, or it may be true. I'm not here to say anything about that. But the important point behind the story is the idea. What is it trying to convey you? It is the absolute. Even the last bit of your own egoistic capacity should be given unto his hands. Doesn't mean that we should not do anything. We do, all right. There is a way of doing things with your own individual will. But the test comes when you keep on doing it thinking that you are doing everything. If you don't think that you are the author of everything, you are the doer, and if you think that he is the one, it is that cosmic energy that's flowing through me. Call him he is the one or she is the one or the cosmic energy, which I mean the God. It is the cosmic force that flows through you. I cannot even move my little finger without that energy. If we remember that, if we realize that, then whatever you do becomes part of his action. So the free will is given to recognize this or to refuse this. We always talk about free will. Oh, God has given me some free will. I can do whatever I want. Sure, you can do whatever you want. But the best thing to do is to know that you cannot do anything without him. If you can recognize that, you are using your free will in the best possible way. Everything else is in the opposite direction. Because the fact remains a fact. We are not really doing anything by ourselves. We cannot do. It's not that because of your faith or devotion or humility you say, oh, it's God working through me, I am not doing anything. You are really saying the truth. If anybody says, I did this, I did that, that's untrue. Complete falsehood. Do you want me to prove that to you? Because it's an important point. Okay, now, you see, I took this and placed it here. It's a simple act. Can't I do this? It's a very simple act. When people move rocks and mountains, okay, just analyze this. To lift this and place it here, I have to use the arm. The arm must have enough strength. Is it not so? The arm must have the life, the strength. Suppose I don't eat for 10 days. I can't even move my arm. Is it not so? Huh? Don't you agree with me? Huh? Okay. So, where from the arm gets the energy? From the food that you eat. Where from the food comes? From the nature. You may say, oh, I planted it. Okay, you might have planted one seed, but you got 100. Who gave you that? Nature gave you. Not only food, the water that you drink. Nobody has created water. The nature gives you water. Forget about food and water. You can say, oh, I don't drink, I don't need food, I don't need any liquid to drink, I can still live. But still to live you need the air. Where do you get it? The modern scientists are so much worried about polluting the air. Why can't they create some new air and push that polluted air and fill in the entire city with fresh air? They are doing so many things. Can't they create some fresh air or mix oxygen? It's nature's gift. And that is what you call God. God gives you the air, the life force, and that force performs its act through the arm, and so you are able to lift it. So the energy that is used to do this job comes from the nature, comes from God. You may say, oh, no, I do the breathing. Do you really mean that? How many of you really breathe consciously? Only probably in the pranayama class. Other times you don't even know whether you are breathing or not. And do you know how often the breath goes out of the body? In a given minute? Roughly about 16 times. You can say 16 to 18 times. It just goes out of the body. Breathing out means the breath goes out of the body. Completely burnt. Because you may call yourself strict vegetarians and the most non-violent people, but do you know how many billions of lives you kill in every breath? Murderers. You think murdering means only when shooting at somebody like you is murder? No. Or even killing an animal is murder. That seems to have a different name. When you kill an animal, it's not murder. When you kill a man, it's murder, is it not? That's human language. What a beautiful man. He has his own way of getting out. Deluding his own conscience. You can kill but not murder. But the bacteria, the life-giving energy in the air is being destroyed every time you breathe in. So when the air comes out, it's completely burnt. It comes out as carbon dioxide. And even that you don't consciously take in. It goes out and somehow it comes in. The most surprising thing in this world is this. If you inflate a tube and if the air doesn't stay there, what does it mean? There is some hole, is it not? So even if a single hole is there in the tube, the air will not remain, is it not? How many holes we have in this tube? The air remains. And how does it come when you don't consciously breathe in? Even if you want to stop it out consciously, you can't. Don't worry about consciously breathing in. Can you stop out consciously? No. It rushes in. No, I want to get in. Why? Because that's the order I got from the High Command. It says I must go into your lungs. You can't stop me out. You may say, oh, no, there's nothing God or anything. There are certain involuntary sets of muscles in the lungs. The Swami doesn't seem to know anatomy. In your voluntary control, you can stop it or inhale and hold it for a little time. Afterwards, the involuntary muscles take over and they perform the action. You can neither hold it in or out. Well, you named it beautifully. Involuntary muscles. What does it mean? It's not in your voluntary control, but it is under somebody's control then. There must be some force to control that involuntary muscles. It is involuntary to you, but it is voluntary to the cosmic power. That's why it's functioning. Otherwise, why not the involuntary muscles act even when the life goes away? What happened to that involuntary function then? Because even that breath is controlled by somebody, some cosmic consciousness, which is interested in your living, in keeping this machine running. That's what I mean. This is just a machine, the body and mind. This machine is being constantly run by that power, a wireless power. It is interested in making this machine run because it has to do so many things through this body, through everybody's body and mind. So the energy is being sent to you again and again and again. Even though the air goes back and complains, sir, you are pushing me into these lungs. That fellow, do you know what is happening to me? When I go, he burns me out. He is a murderer. You still want me to go in? He said, no, better. I have created you for that purpose, to sacrifice your life so that he will live. That's your duty. Don't hesitate, go in, because I want him to live. I want her to live. I have so much to do with her. I am still functioning through her or him. That clearly shows that we don't have the capacity even to live. Do you agree with me? That's what. If we really accept it, understand it, accept it and realize it, then where is the ego for us to say, I did it, the credit should come to me, I am responsible for this. You are not responsible either to build or to destroy. You have no capacity to make or break. The only capacity you are allowed is to say, I did it. That's all. Simply to put a label, it's mine. Nothing is yours. That is what. If you really think analytically, or in your own life's experiences, in others' experience, you have seen great people. People with enormous strength, people with lot of money, lot of position, lot of power, great emperors. Where are they now? Once a demon asked Dharmaputra, one of the senior brothers of the Pandavas, a question, because he had to answer the question to get through. The question was, what is the most surprising thing in this world? And Dharmaputra said, even after seeing that every day everybody is dying one by one, for me to think I am going to be eternal is the most surprising thing. Yes. We always think that way. I am going to live always. We are made to live as long as we are needed here. Once the purpose is over, he'll put it in the garbage. That's all. Yes, that's all. He's not throwing the soul away. The soul is part of him. It's the body that he made, the makeup. After the drama is over, you just take out everything and put it back and go. Go home as you came. You can't take any bit of it. So this is the makeup. When we realize that, we feel, my God, I'm just nothing. I know nothing. Yes. You are not even something or everything or anything. You are just nothing. Realize this either by intellectual analysis or by devotion or by do anything. Doesn't matter. When once that comes into your life, you have already surrendered to the higher will. Until then, you may just give, take, give, take. It's not a complete surrender, but you can try. If you temporarily give it in the hands of God for a few days, certainly you might get some taste of it and say, this seems to be easier. Why should I carry my load when he is ready to carry my load? We understand it more. Otherwise, it's something like somebody who wanted to rush home, gets into the train and he is running into the compartment. People ask, they say, why are you running? I'm in a hurry to go home. How many of us do this? The driver is driving the car, you hit the dashboard, brake, all the brake. Passenger drivers. It's just, that is what you call ignorance. Deluded by the ego. So when that truth dawns in our life, we are safe. Sooner the better. That's why the Lord said from the mount, blessed are the people who suffer. Blessed are those who mourn. They will be comforted. They will be shown the way. Suffering is the blessings in disguise. It is only by that we realize our own limitations. Not by pleasure. No. The more you enjoy, the more you say, I did everything. It's my work. A real spiritual seeker should welcome suffering. He would hesitate to accept pleasure. Comfort and pleasure, even if anybody, come on, have this candy, oh no. If somebody gives you a bitter thing, probably that's the right thing for me. Because only that is going to shape us and make us grow. Self-surrendering. And that is what, when you surrender yourself, then you are no more selfish. That's what, you become selfless. Yeah, the self has been surrendered to God, so there is no self, so it's less self. Isn't it? You are you, less self. Less self, who are you? Just the body and the mind, which is nothing but materials. Elements, composed. Mind also is a particle, element composition. Subtle elements composed. We should recognize this, realize this by any method.